80%. That's the number that stunned everyone at the Mubadala DC Open. At first, tournament officials believed around 80% of the ticket inquiries pouring into Washington were about one player. Not the world number one, not the defending champion, not a Grand Slam winner. Alex Eala. Then they looked at the actual data. The real number was even higher. According to tournament chairman Mark Ine, virtually every ticket inquiry they received was connected to Alex Eala. Think about that for a moment. A 21-year-old player from the Philippines was generating more attention than some of the biggest names in tennis. And this wasn't coming from social media rumors or fan pages. It came directly from the chairman of the tournament himself during a public interview on July 28, 2026. What happened over the next 48 hours shocked the entire tennis world. The crowds kept growing. The atmosphere became louder with every match, even world no. One Aryna Sabalenka couldn't ignore what was happening. After Alex Eala packed the stadium in Washington, Sabalenka publicly praised her, calling her a nice person, a graceful person, and a humble person. But to understand why the entire tournament suddenly revolved around one young player, we have to rewind just a few days. 72 hours earlier, Alex Eala quietly arrived in Washington ranked number 28 in the world. Her opening round opponent, an Olympic gold medalist. On paper, it looked like just another difficult first-round match. Inside the tournament office, however, nobody could have predicted what was about to happen. Nobody realized what the Filipino fan base would bring to the nation's capital. Because this story didn't begin with the first serve. It began on a practice court. Monday morning, Alex Eala stepped onto a quiet side court to warm up before the tournament. Just a few feet away was Naomi Osaka, four-time Grand Slam champion, former world number one. One of the biggest stars women's tennis has ever produced. Neither of them knew it yet. But within days, they would become the center of the biggest story in Washington. The most surprising scene in Washington didn't happen during a match. It happened on a practice court. Alex Eala was warming up on a side court before the tournament. Right beside her stood Naomi Osaka, four-time Grand Slam champion, former world number one of the biggest stars the sport has ever known. But something unusual was happening. The fans lining the fence weren't watching Osaka. Every phone pointed in one direction. Every Filipino flag waved for one player, Alex Eala. There was no scoreboard, no championship on the line. No television cameras capturing a dramatic finish, just a practice session. Yet the crowd treated it like the main event. In that quiet moment, tournament officials realized they weren't witnessing ordinary fan support. They were watching a movement. Meanwhile, the biggest name in women's tennis wasn't even in Washington. World number one Aryna Sabalenka had chosen to skip the tournament, focusing instead on Cincinnati and the US Open. Normally, that wouldn't attract much attention, but 2026 had been anything but ordinary for Sabalenka. Throughout the season, she had openly criticized the demanding tour schedule. She questioned tournament scheduling. She voiced concerns over prize money. And after her Wimbledon defeat, she admitted in a press conference that she simply wanted to get away from everything, while the world number one was battling the pressures surrounding the sport. A 21-year-old from the Philippines was quietly becoming its fastest rising attraction. Washington became the place where those two stories unexpectedly collided. Let's begin with the one fact nobody could deny. Tournament chairman Mark Ine revealed that his ticketing team initially estimated around 80% of fan inquiries were about Alex Eala. Then he corrected himself. The true number was even higher. According to Ine, virtually every ticket inquiry centered on Alex Eala. Think about how extraordinary that is. A player ranked outside the top 25 was generating more demand than Grand Slam champions, top 10 stars, and former world number ones. The numbers spoke for themselves. And once the tournament began, Alex delivered exactly what those fans had come to see. Her first challenge was Olympic gold medalist Jung Chinwen. The opening set went exactly as expected. Jung won it 6-4. She even gained momentum early in the second. Everything suggested experience would prevail. Then the match completely flipped. Alex stormed back. She won the second set, then overwhelmed the Olympic champion in the decider, taking it 6-1. After dropping the opener, she captured 12 of the final 17 games. It wasn't just another upset. It was domination. The handshake afterward drew almost as much attention as the match itself. Observers noticed Jung's brief, emotionless reaction at the net. It wasn't the first time in 2026 that a top player seemed stunned after losing to Alex Eala. Earlier in the season, several high-profile opponents had shown visible frustration during or after matches against her. The pattern was becoming difficult to ignore. Now compare the two stories unfolding that same week. On one side, the world #1 recovering from a difficult Wimbledon campaign and facing constant questions about the tour. On the other, Alex Eala filling stadiums, defeating elite opponents, and creating one of the loudest atmospheres Washington had ever seen. Then tournament chairman Mark Ein publicly confirmed what many fans had already suspected. Alex Eala wasn't simply another rising player. She had become the biggest attraction of the tournament. For Filipino fans, that moment felt like validation. For months, they had insisted Alex's popularity was unlike anything the WTA had seen in years. Many people dismissed those claims as exaggeration. Washington proved otherwise. The tournament chairman acknowledged it, former professional players recognized it, the crowds demonstrated it, the numbers backed it up. By then, the conversation had shifted. This wasn't just about rankings anymore, it was about influence. Alex Eala's social media audience continued to grow at an extraordinary pace, while engagement around her matches consistently outperformed expectations. The gap between her ranking and her popularity was becoming impossible to ignore. She wasn't just climbing the WTA tour, she was bringing thousands of new fans into the sport. And one respected former professional recognized it before many others did. Steve Johnson, a former ATP top 20 player and Grand Slam doubles champion, someone with no personal connection to Alex Eala. No national loyalty, no reason to promote her story. When someone like that starts talking about a young player, people across the tennis world pay attention. Then came the moment that made everyone pay attention. On the Nothing Major podcast, former ATP top 20 player Steve Johnson was asked a direct question. Had Alex Eala already become a bigger draw than some of the WTA's biggest stars? His answer was immediate. Yes. Johnson even compared the excitement surrounding Alex Eala to the explosive rise of João Fonseca on the men's tour, a young player whose popularity filled side courts and generated enormous buzz long before he reached the very top of the rankings. That's significant, not because it proves Alex is already the biggest name in tennis, but because respected voices inside the sport are recognizing something different about her rise. And Washington only strengthened that conversation. This isn't just the story of one remarkable tournament. It's a glimpse into how the business of tennis may be changing. For years, the formula seemed simple. Higher ranking meant bigger crowds meant greater commercial value. Alex Eala is challenging that idea. She's showing that a player who connects with an entirely new audience can become one of the sport's biggest attractions even before reaching the very top of the rankings. We've seen moments like this before. Li Na introduced millions of new fans to tennis in China. Today, young stars are expanding the sport in new markets around the world. Alex Eala could represent a similar breakthrough for Southeast Asia. If that continues, every tournament director will be paying close attention. The next few events could tell us a lot. A rematch with Leylah Fernandez, another opportunity on one of tennis's biggest stages, and eventually, the US Open, where every deep run brings even more attention. Each tournament becomes another chance to answer the same question. Is Alex Eala simply enjoying a remarkable season, or is she becoming one of the defining stars of the next generation? Of course, her story isn't perfect. There have been difficult losses, painful setbacks, matches that exposed areas where she still needs to improve. Every rising champion experiences those moments. The difference is how they respond. After one of her comeback victories in Washington, Alex spoke with remarkable calm. She said she believed the ability had always been there. The difference was that she now trusted it. Years of training, years of repetition, years of believing that one day the work would finally show on the biggest stages. That quiet confidence says a lot about where she is mentally. Now rewind the Week 1 final time. A practice court packed with fans before the tournament had even begun. An Olympic champion defeated after Alex recovered from losing the opening set. Tournament officials acknowledging unprecedented fan demand. Crowds unlike anything Washington had experienced in years. One unforgettable week transformed Alex Eala from a rising talent into one of the biggest stories in world tennis. Whether she wins every tournament from here is impossible to know. Whether she reaches world number one remains to be seen. But one thing feels increasingly clear. Alex Eala is no longer just chasing the future of women's tennis. She's becoming part of its present. Now it's your turn. Do you think Alex Eala has what it takes to become a Grand Slam champion and a future world number one? Let me know your prediction in the comments. And if you enjoy in-depth tennis documentaries like this one, subscribe for more stories covering the biggest moments, rising stars, and unforgettable matches from the ATP and WTA tours. Because this story is only getting started. Don't let someone else take your spot. Subscribe now, turn on notifications, and be here for every chapter of Alex Eala's incredible journey before the rest of the world catches up.